How many people are here? This is pretty cool.
About 20. Yeah.
Wow. I should put this back up on my blog or something. You need to tell people. Go out and tell people. Yeah, actually 20
Do you think Jews complain more than non-Jews?
I don't know. I'm Jewish. You know, like
Right.
I have no idea. I mean, according to the staff in my restaurant, they do. According to my staff in my restaurant, in terms of food, they bitch about 5 times as much. I mean, like every time someone's like, they order these like burger, sauce on the side, whole wheat bun with like no lettuce but extra tomato, and the sous chef looks at me and I'm like, it's like, they're your people. It's like we know when it's Jews ordering, because the Jews, they come in, you know, we're an upscale restaurant, but we're forced to have the burger on the menu. 15 people, a table of 15, all burgers. They don't want to spend $25 on an entree. Sauce on side, this, that, picking this, picking that. You know, I mean, the salads, the whole point of the salad is the sauce. If I can't put my dressing on the salad doesn't stick up all the way on the plate. It ruins the whole thing. It's insanity.
So I'm going to email you the chat transcripts as we go, because it won't keep. FrumSatire@gmail.com.
Yeah. What do you mean, really?
In case you want to read it.
Oh, wow, yeah. It's cool. Cholent. Nice. Is that leftover cholent? I wonder if that's the cholent girl. She's a mad cutie from, like, Ohio. Who's a very good writer,
There's a guy
too.
complaining about a girl who dumped him because he said he was a Frum Satire.
Wow, that's awesome. This is so cool.
Yeah.
I wish I like, you know, like, I need to, like, get on my blog and, like, update this or something. Like, people are missing out. This is, every time I come to LA, I think I'm going to do this. This is, like, so much fun. You can ask me questions, too, though.
Yeah,
you just normally, you know, like,
no.
You know, you ask these incriminating questions to get me to say things.
Me?
You know, yeah. So what do you think of porn? You know, like, these, like, you know.
Walk me through the past year of your life.
Past year of my life, according to these guys, or you? Past year, you want to hear?
Yeah, I want to hear the highlights for you. What have been the highlights?
I mean, this is like, it's interesting you say this, because this is like, every few years you start a new chapter in your life. There's certain events, like, you know, I graduated high school, I moved out on my own. That was a new chapter. I had lived in Rochester for like 10 years, went to college there, worked there. I moved to Albany. That was a new chapter. Leaving Albany, that was another chapter. Getting my first job with like a salary, that was a chapter. Yeah, I need some water, I was going to say.
Sure you don't want Diet Coke?
So doing all this, you know, like, and this was an incredible new chapter, because this completely flipped me all over the place. This was like, you know, I'm moving, not only am I moving out of New York State, which I'd lived in Dallas. You know, people always think that I lived in New York. I lived in New York for 6 months in my adult life. I lived in Muncie for 8 months, and most of my time, my first 2.5 years of my blog was written in Albany, and it had nothing to do with New York. And I hated New York, actually. I mean, part of the reason I don't complain as much is because when you live in the West, you're like, there's nothing to fetch about, you know? People here are nice and peaceful. People email me like, doesn't this piss you off? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. You know, it's all, you know, it's almost like I have to, like, force myself to get pissed off and cynical because, like, to, like, deliver to the fans, you know? But that's why my writing has taken a more existential tilt. And definitely moving to the Bay Area, that's another thing. When I moved here, I started meeting a lot of different Jews. It's not just Frum Jews. It's conservative Jews, it's Reform Jews, it's renewal Jews, it's atheist Jews. It's Jews who are Orthodox, but they don't keep kosher, and Jews who keep kosher, but they're not Orthodox. And Jews, I mean, I meet people who are Reform, and they wear tzitzis, and their wife goes to the mikveh. But they're Reform. It's like you know, and like in New York, you don't, you know, in Bay Area, it's perfectly normal for a Frum guy to be friends with all types of Jews, and go to all sorts of events, and, like, it's the only place where I can tell a Kolo guy, go to the Tri-Chitza Minyan, and he's like, say hi to, like, Bracha for me, or whatever. It's like, you know, like, you don't get that on the East Coast. It's not as open, and that definitely is part of my, the new chapter. But, I mean, I moved to the Bay. I had no idea what was ahead of me, but I just knew that I've always wanted to live in the West. I never imagined myself living in California. California is probably the last place. California is very urban, it's very large, it's big. I imagine myself maybe living in Denver or, you know, Portland, Oregon, or Seattle, or, you know, somewhere a little more homely, and, you know, moving here and becoming a cook, and also just, you know, this is, I mean, look at me, I'm skinny. I'm like 20 pounds skinnier than my last interview, probably. I mean, because it's like, it's the winter, And first of all, I've always dreamed that I would get a job that I would work in the nighttime in the winter. So I'm off till 3. So every day I get up, I do a little writing, do my praise the Lord, and I get on my bike and I ride. I mean, I mountain bike, I hike, I do everything, and it's all within like 30 minutes of my house. It's literally right there. It's like I don't have to go. Coming down to L.A. was so daunting because when I lived in New York, driving 5 hours, going there for Shabbos, going there for Shabbos. Here, people in the Bay Area never have to drive more than 45 minutes to get anywhere, and the traffic is light and it's like very, people pretty much stay in their own communities. They look at me like an anomaly because I go everywhere. And it's interesting how God, I believe in God, put this here. Like the Bay Area has like 5 or 6 distinct communities, and I'm able to go to each one and get a different flavor every week. And so the highlights have been just like, just breaking out of this sort of East Coast mentality and becoming really like, there's a lot more self-reflection, where, in my space, and I'm definitely a little more withdrawn than I was in the East, because the East, I was bored with life, but I had a lot of friends. And in the West, I have a lot of friends, but a lot of them are weekend friends. I don't have a lot of weekday friends. I've been hanging out with this girl lately. I told her she's my first weekday friend, good weekday friend. And then there's a couple people, but I mean, I've been like being able to really, I've gotten really into backpacking and going into the woods for days on my own. And I was always scared to do that in the West. Like, I'm not going into Yosemite by myself, but.
Do they often find dead people after you make these?
No, not at all, not at all.
Good.
Women tied up, but no dead people.
Okay. How much money did you raise on your blog for your car?
$800.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that was really I was thinking I didn't think that it was going to be in the middle like that. I thought it was going to be like $100 or like $2,000. I didn't think there was going to be like a middle ground.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just people get, the most I got from one person was $100. There was someone this yeshivish guy in the 5 towns or something. But there were quite a few non-Jews gave me money. People aren't even converting. They're just non-Jews who read I really like what you do. Okay, wow, cool. And mostly people I don't know, have never been in contact with. There's people, that's really cool, because that's a big inspiration when, a lot of times it's daunting to write a really good post, and you have to really remove yourself from the comments, because if you write a really good post and get 3 comments, it doesn't mean that no one read the post. I see the stats, I know what people read, but you feel like no one enjoyed the post, no one got anything out of it. A lot of my good posts, it's not a discussion, it's just, here, this is funny, this is interesting, you chuckle, there, you liked it, but when you get an email and someone goes out of their way to give you some sort of appreciation or thanks, that's really special. That's really you're reading, almost every email I ever get starts out with, I don't comment, but I've been reading your site for 2 years or 3 years, or, and it's random people who Facebook me, or, there's people who, who will never ever say anything, and that's just the nature of the game. And then some people will, a lot of people, it's very on the background. So when I got money from people, it's like, really? I've never spoken to you. We're not Facebook friends. I don't know who you are, but here, have money. Cool. It was very inspiring for me. It was really good.
What's your philosophy on moderating the comments?
I don't like to moderate. I really, I take the opposite stance of Avi Shafran. He's the head of Aguda, who had recently said that basically he doesn't allow comments on any of his writing because he thinks that comments lead to Lashon Hara and Sinas Chinam and all sorts of things that are products of free speech and openness. And I think that if anything, if you have the entire point of if you're talking and people are listening but they're not discussing, what's the point of it? It's great, but you're not really the whole, almost when people are discussing things, it brings such a deeper aspect to the everything comes on a deeper level. I didn't want to moderate Nate. The only reason I moderated because the gays got very pissed off at me, and I watched your video. It's interesting, but I know Mr. Ford's thoughts on the gays, but I have mixed feelings, but I understood, that people are going to come to the site and they're going to feel really bad, and that post for some reason touched a lot of buttons. Every other gay post I've written has been the same exact comments, by the way. But that post was satirical, and no one got it. See, I should have put a link to the original post, then you guys would have liked it. The original post was this revolutionary eating healthy and obesity Shabbaton in the Frum community, where a bunch of really fat Frummies got together and